Today our guest is the writer H.G. Buzz Bissinger. Buzz Bissinger is the author of several acclaimed nonfiction books, including the bestseller Friday Night Lights. Mr. Bissinger was a reporter for the Philadelphia Inquirer, for which he won a Pulitzer Prize. He is a co-producer and writer for television and a regular contributor to Vanity Fair, the New York Times Magazine, Sports Illustrated, and other publications. Buzz Bissinger, welcome to the Drexel InterView.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You had an opportunity to spend time with Ed Rendell, who was running for mayor and then became mayor. And the result of that unusual access was a prayer for the city. Very complicated, lots of history, lots of technical stuff about the city. But in some sense, what was striking to me was that it's a love letter of sorts to Ed Rendell and David L. Cohen.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, some people say, well, you got co-opted by the access. It was kind of the opposite of Odessa. I don't think I did, because the reviews were kind of split. It was interesting, and, you know, whatever you make of reviews. Half the people said Ed Rendell was the greatest breath of fresh air in politics that they'd ever read about, and half the people said he was insane. I mean, there was a lot in it about his temper, but it is a love letter because I felt that, yes, Ed is a man of deep flaws, but Ed is a man of deep heart. Ed is a man of great humor. Ed is a man of great compassion, who did something that I had never seen in Philadelphia, and I've lived here over 30 years, is he made people feel good about the city, which is almost impossible. Philadelphians have a chip on their shoulder, and they love to be negative about their city, and it sort of becomes this weird negative badge of honor. You know, I had a cynical sense of government, but people work very hard, and government can do good things. So that's what I found, and that's what I wrote. And, you know, I guess I could have made it more sensational. And there were some things I probably should have put in that I didn't, and I wish that I had.
Could you tell us what that
Yeah, I mean, there was just some behavior, some stuff involving Ed where I thought it reached a kind of level of cruelty that was unnecessary. And
he was cruel?
yeah, he could be very cruel. He had a very, very big temper. He liked making fun of people. Yeah, he could do that. And I didn't put it in, I don't want to go into the names, but, you know, I knew that would then become the whole focus of the book, which would sort of eradicate trying to write a really serious book about the plight of urban America, which at that point, cities were really on the skids. I mean, you know, Philadelphia's doing better. It's not doing as well as it was in the 90s, but cities were in terrible shape when I began that book in 1992, and Philadelphia in particular was in terrible shape. And I, like all books, you want to take something and try to turn it into a human tale.
Would you say that it was that conjunction of David L. Cohen, who has certainly a very different personality and style from Ed Rendell, that I don't know, Mutt and Jeff?
Yeah, because I mean, I learned a lot about how leadership can work if there's not threat. I mean, Ed, to his credit, basically said, David runs the day-to-day city. I'm not good at that. What I'm good at is going out in the city all the time, basically 24 hours a day, sort of, as he described it, injecting canisters of oxygen into the city to create bread and circuses. Remember, I mean, the city was basically broke. People were scared for the future, and a lot of mayors would never do that. Rudy Giuliani would never do that. Rudy Giuliani was the meanest, most petty son of a bitch you'll ever meet.
I interviewed him too.
Yeah, well, he was.
What about?
And he asked me to write his book, and I said no.
What about Mayor Bloomberg?
Bloomberg was better. I think Bloomberg was a good mayor until this term. You know, look, it's like everybody. It's like Joe Paterno, it's like Bloomberg, it's like J. Edgar Hoover. Everyone in power thinks they become indispensable, and they stay too long.
Do you feel Ed Rendell knew when to stop? I mean, has he done? Do you think he's orchestrated his career properly? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think he became governor. I didn't think it was a great job for him, but I think he is publicly committed, and I think he's now having fun. He's doing a lot of TV and a lot of speeches, and I think he does, you know, the sports stuff on Comcast. And my sense is, I don't talk to him a lot. I think he's very happy.
Well, that I thought, you know, certainly a major part of that book was his confrontation with the unions.
Right.
And writing that must have been very exciting. I mean, being part of that. And I wonder what kind of, did you get flack yourself writing about that?
I didn't get flack. I mean, the access there was a little tricky, but, you know, the thing about Ed is he's very playful. And part of his adventure of being mayor was seeing how far he could insert me into meetings. He did get me all the way into a very key meeting on public housing with Cisneros, which he was very proud of, and which Cisneros thought I was a the press secretary, and looked at me and said, "I don't want to see that written anywhere in any newspaper." And I didn't lie. I said, "Well, it won't be. I just wrote it in a book."
He didn't know who you were.
No,
Yeah.
and because I did, I would sit in Ed's office. I would look like an aide, and I would wear, a green suit or a blue suit, so it looked like I was taking notes, memorializing notes. If someone asked me who I was, I'd always tell them. If someone asked me to leave, I would always tell them. But if someone didn't ask, that's on them, particularly with public officials. I would not do that to a private individual.
Yeah.